In this video, we're going to be solving word problems with one variable equations. When we read a word problem, we want to see what the question is asking. And for this one, it wants us to figure out the dimensions of a rectangle. And it looks like we have the perimeter of a rectangle, and it tells us that it's 60 centimeters. And that the length is, meaning length is, 5 centimeters more, which is a plus sign, than twice the width. So 2 times the width. Now the perimeter of a rectangle is the sum of all four sides. We can think of it as if you start right here and you walk along the perimeter of each side, it would be the sum or the addition of those four sides. And we constitute this as the width on the top and bottom and the length on the sides. If we were to write this as an equation, perimeter would be equal to width plus the length plus the length, which we can simplify to 2w plus 2l. Now we're given that the length is the same as 5 plus 2w, and we can plug that into our equation. And we know that the perimeter is equal to 60. So we can write 60 is equal to 2w plus 2 times 5 plus 2w. Now we can simplify this to 60 is equal to 2w plus, when we have these parentheses, that means we multiply the 2 by the 5 and the 2 by 2w. So we get 2 times 5 plus 2 times 2w. And that is going to simplify to 2w plus 10 plus 4w. And with that, we're going to have 60 is equal to 6w plus 10. Solving for w, we're going to subtract 10 on both sides because we want to get all of our variables, or w, on one side and all of our numbers on the other side. Dividing by 6 on both sides, it's going to give us the w is equal to 50 over 6, which will simplify to 8.33. Now this is going to be the width. For us to figure out the length, we're going to have to plug w in right here. And so our length will be equal to 5 plus 2 times 8.33. If we simplify that out, we're going to get an answer of 21.66. And those two values are going to be our dimensions for the rectangle. For this problem, we're going to figure out how many texts Maria has sent. And if we read the word problem, there's some keywords that can help us figure it out. First, we see that she has a base fee of $25 for her cell phone each month. Plus, she is charged 15 cents per text. This word per means a rate, and we tend to associate that with our variable x. And then we see that her bill was $49.45. This word was, and in present tense it will be is, it usually means the equal sign. So if we plug this in, we're going to put $49.45 is equal to the base fee of $25 per month plus her rate per text, which is 15 cents, and times that by x. What we want to do is we want to get all of our numbers on one side and a variable x on the other side. So to do that, we always take the opposite of what we see. We have 25 on this side, so we're going to subtract 25, being positive at first. And this is going to simplify to 24.45 is equal to 0.15x. What we want to do next is to get x by itself, we're going to have to do the opposite of what we see associated to x. This is 0.15 times x. So instead of multiplication, we're going to do the opposite, which is division. So we're going to divide it by 0.15 on both sides. If we do that, we can get x on one side by itself, and we're going to get that x is equal to 163. So how many text messages did she send? That'll be 163 text messages. For this question, we're trying to figure out how many weeks it'll take for Ethan to save $104. If I read the question, it says that Ethan has $20 saved. Each week, he adds $12 from his allowance. When we see this each week, we can think of that word per, which we saw in the last question. But each week will mean our rate, which means that we're going to be taking 12 times x. Now it says he has an initial amount of $20 saved. So we know it's going to be 20 plus 12 times x. And we want to figure out how long it'll take for him to save $104. So what we want to do is we want to get x variable by itself and all of our numbers to the other side. So we're going to subtract 20 on this side, which means we subtract 20 on the other side. By doing that, the 20s are going to cancel out, so we're going to be left with 12x is equal to 84. If we divide by 12 on both sides, we're going to get that x is equal to 7. So for this problem, we want to figure out the cost of a children's ticket. It tells us that an adult ticket costs $8.75 each, and that a children's ticket will cost X dollars. Now it says that Sam bought one adult ticket and two children's tickets for a total of $21.25. So we know we can set this up as $21.25 is equal to the one ticket that was $8.75 for the adult, plus the two children's tickets, which we'll call as 2x. So what we want to do is we want to get x by itself and all the other numbers to the other side. So we're going to subtract $8.75 from both sides. It will cancel out on the right side, and so we'll be left with 12.50 is equal to 2x. Since we have 2 times x, we're going to do the opposite of that, which is division. So dividing by 2 on both sides is going to give us that x is equal to $6.25. And that will be the cost of a children's ticket. For this question, we're trying to figure out how long it took Alicia to get home. And it tells us that we're looking for it in terms of hours. If we read the question, it says she's walking at a speed of 3/4 miles per hour. Now, when we see that word per, again, that means our rate, which means that we're going to have that 3/4 associated to our variable x. Now, it says that she travels 1.5 miles between her home and the library. So we're going to have 3/4x is equal to 1.5. Now, with a question like this, we have a fraction and we have a decimal. It tends to be easier if that you have a fraction already to convert this decimal into a fraction. When we have a decimal with one decimal place, what we can do is multiply top and bottom by 10. What that does is by multiplying it, you get rid of the decimal at the top, and now you've converted it into a fraction. Now we can simplify this by dividing top and bottom by 5. When we do that, our new fraction is going to be equal to 3/2. So now we can rewrite our equation as 3/4x is equal to 3/2. To get x by itself, we can multiply this fraction on the left by the reciprocal, meaning we take the bottom number here, which is 4, and put it on the top, and 3 then goes at the bottom. Now, if we do that to one side, that means we also have to multiply it by the same thing on the other side. By doing so, the 4 and the 4 will cancel out, and the 3 and 3 will cancel out. So we'll be left with x on one side. Now, multiplying the two fractions, we always multiply straight across for fractions. So that's going to give us 12/6, which will simplify to 2. So how many hours did it take for Alicia to walk home? The answer will be 2 hours. Now for this question is asking how many years was the money invested? And it looks like we've been given a formula where P is the principal, meaning the initial amount, R is the rate, and T is the time in years. Now it tells us that the interest earned is $72. The $600 deposit is our initial amount, or our principal, and our rate is 6% interest for R. And that means we're going to be solving for T, which is true because we're looking for how many years it takes for that money to be invested. Plugging this all in, we're going to get 72 is equal to 600 times 6%. Now, when we have a percent sign, that's going to be the same thing as taking it 2 decimal places over so that we get a decimal of 0.06. So we're going to multiply that by 0.06 and times that by t. We're going to simplify by multiplying 600 times 0.06 is going to give us 36t is equal to 72. To get t by itself, we're going to divide by 36, the opposite of multiplication, and 72 divided by 36 will give us a time of 2 years. And that will be our answer. For this question, we're trying to figure out how many friends were eating pizza. Now, it tells us that a large pizza is $18.50. And if they split the cost evenly, each friend will pay $3.70. This word each gives it away that it's going to be our rate, meaning that we're going to have 3.70 times x. If we plug this into an equation, we're going to get 18.50 is equal to 3.70 times x. To get x by itself, since we have multiplication of those two values, we're going to divide by 3.7 on both sides. It's going to cancel out each other in the right side. So we're going to get that x is equal to 5. So there will be 5 friends that will split the cost evenly between the one pizza.